temperature in control. Man, that looks great.
Jets! 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 Woo!
Oh my God, it's so beautiful. 78 degrees, Jets football, and we're winning. That's what's going on today. That's why everybody's so psyched. This isn't no happenstance. This is a guarantee, just like Joe Namath said. See that?
There are few things in life you cannot put a price on. Loyalty, tradition, fierce passion. Today is a gigantic family reunion because finally, they're back.
Well, good morning, Jets fans. This is GreenBean. Welcome to Good Morning Jets for this Wednesday, January 4th, 2023. I'll tell you, man, where has the year gone? It's already January 4th. I don't know what to make of it. I hope you're having a good day. I'll tell you what, guys. We did a late after-hours Jets Fest last night. We did the Talking Jets panel with the great Matt O'Leary and Ryan Delaney on Jets Talk 24/7, immediately followed by, I think, a 2.5 hour or something after hours Jets Fest. I didn't get to sleep till like 3, and now here we are. I'm shot, but here we are. We're going to talk about Jets. What's really funny is some of you guys were in there with me. So we just don't stop, do we? It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day. I'm happy to be here with you. Alpha Anaconda, getting us started this morning. Good morning, buddy. Big Green. I'll tell you, Big Green, whatever it is with the schedule changes I've made, I'm seeing a lot more of you, and that makes me happy, my good friend. Our buddy Phil. That's right, buddy. What's up, Phil? It's good to see you in the morning, right? This works for your time. I got to check this light. Hold on, let me switch things here. Watch this. That's better, isn't it? These let's see. There we go. That's better. Tell you, you get these cameras and some are great in this thing and then they bleach you over here. It's just a whole weird thing, but I think this is better. It's good to see you so much, Phil. I see Phil all over the time map. Lawrence Wapples, good morning to you. Right on. Jay-Z, there you go. What's up, buddy? Hey, good morning, Jets Forever. Thank you for the green heart, the official start of all Jets live streams. Hey, look at this. Good morning, GreenBean. Well, good morning. Oh, how are you? I'm good. Okay, I'm tired. Yeah, I know, me too. It's good to see you, though, GreenBean. Daniel Klein, GreenBean, let's talk cap space. Cutting Carl Lawson says $15 million, but then we only have 4 defensive linemen on the roster. What do we do? Well, guys, I put a poll in the chat. Give me an answer. So we'll talk about it from that angle as well. Draft, and then we can talk a little bit about the cap, Daniel. No problem. Give it a few minutes. Let's go through this the right way, and we will get there. It's a great subject because it's interesting. We don't owe Carl Lawson any money, like as far as guarantees. He's not exceedingly expensive, but he's not cheap. And, you got young guys. You got the Michael Clemenses. You got the Jermaine Johnsons. You got the Bryce Hoffs on the defensive line. You got them. Now you can draft another guy. You can bring in, you got, a younger guy or whatever, or you can renegotiate. So we'll talk about Carl Lawson. He's a very interesting guy because the truth is he's very good, man. He's a very good player. Now, maybe not the sack numbers we were hoping. I think we were hoping for some double digits. I believe he's got 7, and he's got another game, so maybe he gets 8 for us. But the thing with Carl Lawson, dude, I've never seen a player held so consistently in all my years. Not Lageman, not Bird, not Washington, not Sheldon Richardson. Like I'm telling you, Carl Lawson is held at least 50% of the time. And I mean held. Arm around the neck, the whole thing. It's like he's unstoppable. And they just figure, screw it. They're not going to call it every play. Hold him. Just hold him, and we'll roll with it. And then they don't get called. He gets 1 here, 1 there. It's really something. It's sad. But good morning, Daniel. Yes. Sergeant Cavo, what's up, buddy? Good morning. Yeah, right. Don't forget. Let's get this out early. There's a good 50 of you here so far. This show usually gets to about 150 of you. We'll say it now. We'll say it later real quick. A couple things, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button if you like it. If you're like, I can't stand this guy, then don't hit the like button, right? It's okay. But if you do, it does help the algorithm. It helps the channel grow. Subscribing is even better for the channel. If you haven't subscribed, it would be greatly appreciated. Guys, we are like 90 away. We're 90 away, January 4th. Again, the goal was 10,000 by December 31st. I'm now entering my third year on YouTube. We just hit the 2-year anniversary. And we didn't make it. But we got damn close, man. I'll tell you what, being 120 away, that's not a bad shot. You know, it's like I didn't hit the bullseye, but we're in the second circle, and I'm happy about that. And I'm so grateful. So we're still getting there. Every day it goes up. I appreciate it. If you're one of the folks that hasn't subscribed yet, please take a second. Consider it. I would be greatly appreciative if you did that. Two things. You can join the Beanbaggers. We have a great offseason plan, man. We do all kinds of mocks, all kinds of breakdowns on players, all 22s. Like when you're wondering about different guys, like we do positional breakdowns, man. We go through like 5 linebackers, 5 defensive tackles, right? Like we do that stuff. We talk about it. It's all in the Zoom room. You get your chance to speak and nobody jumps on each other. It's not an intense, violent chat. And that's the Beanbaggers. Really, really cool. And there's a constant conversation going on in the Discord, and Tier 3s get to come on the Thursday thick of it with us. I'm sure you've seen a few of the guests. And that's the link is in there. The Beanbaggers are at 3 tiers, and come on in. But the other one, real simple, for live streams, we have 10 members now. For the Stream Beans, that's a live stream specific membership, 1 tier, and it gives you access to all sorts of like free super chats and emojis. I can't add any more. I got really cool emojis made, but I can't add many more because it's limited. I can only grow with as amount as members as I have. I didn't know that. I had like 30 emojis made, and I had 7 emoji spots. I'm like, oh. So the more members I get, the more fun stuff I can add. And that's one too. Again, and it all supports the channel, man. And again, I really do appreciate it. It helps me as a homeschool dad. It makes me not have to go to a warehouse or go back to being a substance abuse counselor and run groups all day or all night or anything. So anyway, guys, you're the best. Thank you very much. And I just love, I love being able to do this. Jets Forever says center is our meme. I know. You know what's funny? If they had more slots, Jets Forever, I was going to add center, and I was going to add what was the other one? Wait, center, and defensive end, because if we cut Carl Lawson, and what if we get rid of Vinny Curry and Carl? We could seriously need some people, but. Anyway, there's only 4, so I looked. I don't think center is our top priority, depending on what we go as it stands today. I know you do, and that's okay. But anyway, take a look out of the list. Which one do you think? And let's go there. So let's start with this, guys. Again, thank you for being here. A good morning from GreenBean to you. And let's go ahead and start with this. We'll touch base. Where the hell is it? We'll touch base on, come on, man. Yeah. Here it is. Let's touch base with Damar Hamlin. As we know, a very young man, a very good player. Made a tackle the other night on Monday Night Football in front of the world, and he made a tackle against the Cincinnati Bengals. He just fell over right after that. It looks to me like a widowmaker. I didn't hear that term yet. Again, that's my family, man. My family, men in my family on the maternal side, they die from that. I have more than a couple, I have a few guys in my family. Just the one, sad to say, he was picking up his grandson, my little cousin, at daycare, at school. He's picking him up because, the mom's working, his daughter, and he goes and picks up the kid. He gets him out of school. He's about to put him in the car. He's between the cars. Widowmaker, same thing. Fell over, died. The little kid was standing there. Another adult walked by and saw it and said, oh, my God. Like, the little kid didn't know it was terrible. But that's what it looks like to me. Just out of nowhere. And it comes out of nowhere. And it's very hard to It's very hard to capture and keep somebody going. So there's all kinds of complaints going on. Why did the ambulance do this? Why didn't they show urgency? Blah, blah, blah. In my opinion, what it looked like, and again, I'm no medical professional as far as that sort of stuff goes. Dude, the fact that those people jumped in and did what they did, they were keeping him going, CPR, and they used a defibrillator and the whole thing. Thank God those people were there, and we're not having a different conversation. He was anywhere else, man. You know what I mean? He could have been just going to get the mail, and that could have happened. He's out the mailbox, and nobody sees it for 10 minutes, and it's over, man. It's over. So that's where it happened. So there's a level of gratitude that should be applied. Again, you got to commend all the people, the way the NFL's handling it. Again, there's lots of positives in there, but the report came out. He's still in critical condition, guys, and his uncle said he had to be resuscitated 2 times in the hospital. And what that means is that without the hospital, he would very well could be gone. So it's the saddest thing, man. You think, 30 seconds earlier, he's one of the the premier athletes in the world, and just like that, So again, if you guys pray, it cannot hurt to throw a prayer up to whatever God, you are subscribing to, whatever God you worship, for lack of a better term. If you don't have spiritual connection, but you believe in positivity, or, hey, man, positive vibes, positive thoughts, send it up. Send it up, man. Please, take care of Damar Hamlin, however you say it. It can't hurt. And the more of us that do it, I'm a firm believer in energies and God and all that sort of stuff. We don't have to get specific, but I believe in all that shit. And I think it's a good idea just to throw one up there, man. It helps. So we'll keep you posted. Obviously, I know you guys are probably keeping track of it, and we'll see what the NFL decides to do with the game. It's going to be interesting, right? We're going to see if they're going to play. I think they're going to play the last game and see if it even has any relevance. Right? I mean, maybe it doesn't have any bearing one way or the other. I don't know how that works, but it's interesting, man. And on that end, obviously the main priority is the kid, the young man. At the same time, there's a lot a lot surrounding it that pertain. A lot of people are affected. A lot of people outside of his immediate family and loved ones and team. There's a lot of people, so they have to do something, and it'll be interesting to see what they do. So anyway, that's the update on Damar Hamlin. Now we'll get to the poll in a little bit. Let me see if you have any comments on Damar Hamlin. Let me see. You guys are doing the good mornings. Let's see here. Yeah, well, right. And Mar, it's a good point, dude. It's a good point. And not for nothing, same thing happened with Vinny Curry. Like, look, we have this medical staff, right? One of the things that we can attribute to Joe Douglas, like it or not, is that he came in, he identified this team is the most injured team in the NFL every year. We have more players and more money on IR than any other team for years, man. Like year after year after year after year. Now, some of that has to do with players and minor injuries. They don't give a shit because the team sucks and they're only here for a paycheck. There's that too. Like the Garrett Wilson getting his head knocked off and, landed on his back and running back in 2 plays later. That wasn't happening 3 years ago. Like, fuck this, I'm out. I got more than enough reason to sit on the bench, and they're going to do that. So that stuff applied too. But other than that, you got all kinds of guys, knees and elbows and toes and backs. Everybody's hurt. So Joe Douglas, he was here for a year, and he identifies this medical staff as hot garbage, the trainer's hot garbage, and he ripped it up. But he didn't just replace it with the same thing. He developed with Dr. DeWeese an entirely new medical staff conceptually. And the way that they're doing it is Dr. DeWeese is at the top, and they have doctors and professionals, dietitian on the diet side, but doctors heading each particular section of the medical, training, the nutrition, the rehab, and the and just medical overall. And they're doctors heading that, but they all go through Dr. DeWeese. And what this does, it sounds so simple, but before this, we were not, they were different departments. They weren't necessarily working together. And I can tell you, man, running rehabs for as long as I did, if you don't do that, if you don't have each place, like each department interwoven and working with each other on a daily basis, what they do is they blame each other. Well, if fucking medical could get it right, then we wouldn't have to do this. Well, if rehab could actually get their head out of their ass, we wouldn't have to. That's the way it goes. And so Joe Douglas, what he did with Dr. Deweese is he put it all together. Now, we had a lot of injuries this year, but I'm going to tell you, it's significantly improved, dude. It might not feel like it. It's a whole different world where we are injury-wise to where we were last year, the year before, the year before, the year before. It's not even comparable. I'm telling you. I've looked over it. I can show you guys if you want. But so there's a lot to be said for that. But one of the things that came out of this, man, my voice is shot, guys. I've been talking a lot, so I need to take a damn break. One of the things that the medical staff did, is they're really a professional medical staff. They're the ones that identified Vinnie Curry's blood clots, right? Now they're completely different, it turns out, than Max Mitchell's. It sounds the same. Ultimately, it's a similar thing, but very, very different reasons and diagnosis. So, but they found it, and Vinnie Curry said they just might have saved his life. Max Mitchell, same thing. Like, who knows, guys? Who knows if he's out there playing and they didn't identify it? Maybe we see something similar to a Damar Hamlin situation. So you gotta give that to the medical staff too. Maybe we do take a few minutes today and we spend it looking at the medical history of the Jets. It's atrocious. So even though the injuries hit, by and large, significantly improved medical and injury situation in year 2 of this medical staff. So let's see how they go, man. Let's let them build. This is the whole thing. Like, you fire Joe Douglas and they start all over with all the doctors. Like, what do they do? Do they fire them? Do they keep them? Just give this regime, in my opinion, give them 5 years, dude. Just give them the 5 years. What do we got to lose? We're fucking firing people every 2 years, every 3 years, every 4 years. We're starting over. It's my opinion. They have shown enough, and this includes, like M. Morris is alluding to, at least in the Max Mitchell direction, they've been doing a few things. There's enough positives. I do JD Jets. What a terrible take by Bart Scott. Look, I love Bart Scott. I do. But he is known. That's why he's not on CBS anymore, because he was good, great gift of gab, smart, knows football, very personable, but every now and then he throws that shit out. They're like, yeah. And then they try to say, hey, you can't do that. He says, screw you. You can't stifle me, man. But yeah, I think it's trouble. Hey, good morning, Watts2K. Good morning. Yeah, Jets turbulence. Thank you. So, what was next? What were we talking about? The MR. So I just wanted to see if you guys were talking about Hamlin. Okay, we can move off that. So the next, again, guys, don't forget to answer the poll. It's priorities. Now, there's only 4 slots in a YouTube poll, so don't chop my head off. You know what I mean? It is what it is. If I didn't put the one position you like, it just is what it is. And this is early, man. Where the season's not even over. You know what I mean? We'll refine our needs as we go. Obviously, in the offseason, through free agency, see the cuts, things like that. And then, ultimately leading to the draft. So we'll see where we are and what we need and all that jazz. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see. All right, so we'll touch on this one more time before we, because this is the last time we're going to talk. This is the last week. All right, the Jets have one more game. Now, I tell you what, we're funny. We're a funny fan base, man. We can't have conversations without it becoming tenuous. Screw you. You're an idiot. That kind of stuff. Like, so here's my take on it. And I'd love to see yours. I see Hepburn. I see Tyson in here. What's up, man? Good to see you guys. Good morning, Kevin Lupke, Jerry the Jets in here. I see you guys. So quickly, my take is this. I totally understand the draft stuff. I do. I have been on that side for 11 of the last 12 years, maybe 10. There might have been another one in there. I was like, no, we need to win, something like that. I don't think so. I think generally speaking, by the last game, I'm wanting to lose. And then like even back to Mangini, man, I was pissed that we won that last game. It took us out of the Chris Long sweeps, and we ended up getting Vernon Golston. So you know what I mean? Shit like that. Obviously, when Geno Smith won the last game with Rex, that was another one. You know, it just knocked us out. There were players I wanted, but here's the thing, guys. We're trying to rebuild a team. Right now, like we've said, the collapse that we had cannot be ignored. It's terrible. It's epic. It's we just watched it, one of the worst Jets collapses ever. It's up there. The fake spike collapse. You got the Mangini collapse, 8-3 and then 9-7, so same kind of thing. This is up there, dude. So But if it wasn't all on the back end, if we won 4 up front and then we say we beat Miami, we win 4 on the back, everybody's happy with 8 wins. Maybe not ecstatic, want to get to the playoffs, but we're happy with the progress. We found a true number 1 wide receiver for the first time outside of the injury to Breece Hall and ABT. Like we know we have potentially all pro level talent there. We got a Sauce Gardner. We have a DJ Reed, we have Michael Carter II. Like we have one of the best defensive backfield, at least the cornerbacks that we've had since the Revis Cromartie days. Undeniable, man. Undeniable. So we found a lot of things. We got, guys like Bryce Huff. Quinnen came into his own. There's a lot here. But the fact that we fell off a cliff removes a lot of that. Now, for me, what I'm looking at is like, let's get emotions out of it and think we had 2 wins, Gase's last year, 4 wins last year, 8 wins this year. Again, we find some real franchise-changing talent around here. You get to 8 wins, and then you again, ends the season on a positive note. We had a tough season. We started tough, got really positive, then we fall off a cliff, and then we end it with a little bit of positivity. I think that bodes well for the organization, for the trajectory that we're on. And that, for me, like, again, a few spots. Now, if it's 10 draft spots, okay, maybe you start all your backups. Just go ahead, start Streveler, start, Jeff Smith and Ty Johnson and, you know what I mean, all the guys. Maybe you do that. Maybe you get Grant Herman's in there and, you know what I mean, all those guys. You just get them in. You get Tanzel Smart and, Irv, the hell's his name? Irv Charles, right? You can do that and just say, man, let's just play in whatever it lands. We win. But I'm on the side of things. If they do go in there with their starters and they're trying to just put an exclamation point on the season, yes, we lost control of the ship, but we ended it on a positive note going into the offseason. I think there's value with that. And again, I'm just fucking tired of rooting for draft picks. And then, like, on top of it, it evens the Miami Jets all-time record. We end up, another positive is, instead of not winning any games in the division for the last 4 or 5 years, we split with the Bills. Should have beat Patriots, but we split with the Bills and we swept Miami. That's another good progressive step moving forward. And look, you got to stack this shit up, man. So that's me. Where do you think? Where do you think it should be? And we'll see that. Let's see where we are. Should we lose? Are y'all seriously asking that? Y'all see the Jets forever. Stop. You don't have to be your weirdos. You don't have to do that. Just say, I disagree. Let's change it. Let's go into 2023, buddy, with let's remove that shit. You're an idiot. You suck. You all are weirdos. Like, just, I don't think that because of this. You can take the edge off, the bite off. It's not helping. You fucking asshole. Oh, please. Let's see. Get a veteran quarterback. Yeah. So what do we think about this game? I'm trying to see. Hello, Harry. Good morning, buddy. Look at this, Mr. Downtown. Bien dia, Senor GreenBean. Yes, good morning to you. I think that's what you said. You know, I used to speak Spanish well enough. Like when I had a Puerto Rican girlfriend for 7 years, and I would go down to Puerto Rico for a few weeks every year, and I could get by. I literally could walk. I could get by enough. I could speak enough. And then when I was in Spain for a few weeks, it was my friends were looking to me to be the guy but it's like now I don't know anything. It's been a long time. Let's see. So Kareem Carson, he says a win can put us as high as 10. No, it's backwards. So a win can put us as far back as 19, and a loss can get us to 10. That's a lot. That's big. That is. And I think the Jets should consider that. Like maybe you do just go out there and you start the backups and you let the chips fall where they may. You obviously don't want to try to lose, right? That's it. Now, if it's a 9 spot swing, that's tough to overlook, man. It's tough to overlook for a meaningless game. I don't think games are meaningless at the end, especially it's one thing at the end of a Gase tenure when you know he's toast. It's a different entirely when these guys are trying to go up. So it's interesting. Yeah, Harlan's a great point. Tampa Bay, the Bucs were a good team, just short of a quarterback. The Jets need to upgrade several positions. I think we found our free safety, but that's the truth. Like people say, it's not all the quarterback, and it's not. But if we had legit good quarterback play consistently, this is we definitely have 2 more victories, at least. Let's just say 2. So now we're at 9 going into the last game. You know what I mean? That's the difference. So I believe that's why I'm more positive than some people say. The team sucks. We're terrible. The defense is a fraud. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not perfect. And they can't carry the offense for 17 straight fucking games. That's the way it goes. So I am on the side of we get a quarterback. Now we need help on the offensive line at free safety. In my opinion, we need a big run stuff in defensive tackle. Obviously, we need the the offensive side. But I think the skill positions were strong. I really do. I think we're strong now. It depends on Breece Hall's injury. Dude, Breece Hall is no joke. He's the best back we've had on this team. I mean, you can make a case for Chris Ivory, who I loved, but Curtis Martin, really, I don't think, no. If he keeps getting injured, he'll be very Chris Ivory-esque. I think if Chris Ivory could have stayed healthy for 10 years, he would be one of the best backs we've ever had. But the problem is he couldn't. But I do think we're like kind of a quarterback away from being wild card consistently. That's what I think. So you guys aren't talking. So no, you play to win. R.A. Chemist. Good morning. Also knocking Miami out of the playoffs would feel good. That's another good point. Like, listen to this. So if we lose to Miami, the Dolphins are in the playoffs. We know that. If we beat Miami, that hinders that. But if the Patriots lose and the Steelers win, the Steelers are in, and we've effectively knocked the whole bottom end of the AFC East out. I like that. I do. I like it. Wouldn't that make you happy? Spoiler. I never want to lose to that's the thing, Tyson. I mean, there's times like, look, I was at the game, Rex's last game, as you guys know. Hold on. I'll show you again. As you guys know, I was at the last game with Rex, and this was Geno Smith's perfect game. Before the game, I had field passes. I was in my company box at the time. You see my son there, my little son. The dog ate that hat. Sad to say, there's my stunningly gorgeous wife. My little daughter's face is cut off there. But I got to meet Rex. He came over to us as Jets fans. This kid to my left, to the right of the screen, that kid wearing like a 6 or whatever, he had a sign that said, "Thank you, Rex." He just held it up for like 10 minutes, and Rex ran over, and CBS caught it, and my friends caught it. But so that game, Geno Smith had a perfect game, man. It was like the best game of his career. And I wanted us to lose, and I was pissed. I really was. I was pissed off. So I know, I get it. I've done it, but again, this is a little different. It's a little different. Awesome pick, right? 41 likes, and Jets, right? We got $120 in here. Let's go, everybody. Give me a little loving. Good morning, Aunt Jets. All right, time to punch and have a good. Oh, Big Green, enjoy the day. Enjoy the day, buddy. We lose, fire Saleh. No, I don't think Saleh's getting fired either way. Jets forever. Do you think Equanimous St. Brown shakes loose from the Bears? I don't know. I just don't know. Well, yeah, I don't know how I feel about Frank Reich. I'll tell you what, the last game that we watched with the Beanbaggers, once a month we get together, we watch a classic Jets game together in a Zoom room. So we're all there. We can stop the game. We can talk. We can laugh. We can comment. We can root again. We watched the only victory of the 1996 season, and it just so turns out none other than Frank Reich was our quarterback. And let me tell you, while he clearly has arm talent and he could do things, boy, oh boy, does that guy make a lot of mistakes. And he threw, I think it was 3 picks in that game. He threw 3 touchdowns too. But he tried the Jets then, we were trying to give the game away. And the announcers were saying the Jets are proficient in giving the game away. They know how to do that better than any other team in the NFL, all that sort of stuff. So Mitt Flair is into tanking this game. Wait. In my opinion, tanking this game would be bad luck. Well, that's what I'm saying, Mitt. Like, here's the thing. And like thinking about it on a wider scope, bigger picture. The first half of the year, guys like Garrett Wilson, and even Zach Wilson, Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, Jermaine Johnson, Michael Clemens, all these guys, AVT, Breece Hall. Remember we were saying, Michael Carter, they don't know they're supposed to suck. They're here thinking, hey, we can have great careers. I'm a great player. We have great team chemistry. I love my teammates. They all play hard. The coach, everybody's buying in. They don't know they're supposed to suck. So they're just out here playing as if it's not the Jets. Now, what happens? That team goes into the bye after beating the division juggernaut Buffalo Bills, widely thought of as a favorite to win the Super Bowl, to get to and win the Super Bowl. Them and the Chiefs are kind of splitting that. We beat them going into the bye. Very exciting, crazy excitement. And then all of a sudden, outside of the bye, after the bye, we lose to the Patriots. They bench Zach because he was, by and large, a huge part of that, right? We beat the Bears. Yay! Then we go to the Vikings. We lose by a fucking hair. Seriously, all he had to do was hold on to it, and that game's ours. Like, that's how close. Then we go to the Bills, and they're a 10-win team. Go to the Bills, it's a 1-score game. Made a few key mistakes, like C.J. Mosley's freak out, jumping over the line. If without that, like, we very realistically could win. So it's like we overcome the odds in the beginning, then we play really, really hard, and we're close, right there, neck and neck with the teams, with the NFL's elite. And then slowly but surely, you don't think that's having an impact on these young players that don't know they're supposed to suck? Maybe, just maybe, they're reading the press. They're seeing the Jets fans call Zach's mom. They're seeing Jets fans waiting outside the stadium, and they start thinking, maybe you can't win here. Maybe this organization is the worst. Maybe if this continues for another year, maybe they're all asking for trades. Maybe they want out of here. They hate it. They hate the fucking media. They hate the vibe. They hate the losing. They can't stand the fans on social media. You suck. You dropped the pass. You fuck piece of shit. Dude, that's what's going on out there. Believe me when I tell you. Poor Becton. Oh, my God. What did Becton ever do to you? You know what I mean? Yes, he got hurt, but he wasn't an injury-prone guy. In college, there's no reason to think that he was. There was concern only because of his weight, right? Can his knees and ankles and things like that, hips, hold up that weight all the time? Now he got injured 2 years in a row, but the venom. Like, do you think San Francisco 49ers fans were sending that kind of venom when Bosa went down for his 3rd knee injury and lost the season? You think San Francisco, you're a fucking bust. You suck, man. You'll never be anything. You'll never be your brother. You think they were doing that? I would venture to guess no. Do you think they're waiting outside the stadium? John Lynch, you're a piece of shit. You fucking bad. So again, we win this game, and it could just be that last little snatch of a shred of positivity to take into the offseason. They say, okay, man, all right, we lost track of it. We're a new team. We're young. We had some key injuries. It caught up with us, the quarterback situation, but we're still on our way. I think that would be more beneficial than a few draft spots. Now, again, 10 draft spots, different story. But I think that the win can be more beneficial for this young team and young coach for that matter. We got to remember that, man. Mr. Downtown, Bean, if Saleh knows he's back next year, he has nothing but negatives if he wins on Sunday. Well, again, Miss, you heard my gripe. Not gripe, you're my diatribe. So I see that. I really do. The higher draft pick, and the last, I get it. I do. At the same time, it just might be more beneficial for this team to gather circle the wagons and go, look, I know we blew it. We blew it. Like Garrett Wilson said, I feel like we let it get away. They feel like we blew a major opportunity, and he's right. But we don't want that to fester. You know what I mean? We don't want it to fester. So that might be like, considering everything you're saying, Mr. Downtown, considering all of it, and it's valid and very real. It just might be more beneficial for the psyche of a young team to get that last win, end with 8 wins, and then get in, as I get it, as far as the whole schedule and it doesn't matter that much. But as far as the young team, believe me, okay, we got that win. We swept a division rival when this team couldn't beat the division in 5 years, 4 or 5, I forget. Haven't won one game in 4 or 5 years. We split with the Bills and we swept the Dolphins. A fucking pretty good start, man. It's a pretty good start to step on. And I think that has merit. Phil Adams, good morning again, Phil. I love you, buddy. Last offseason, many of us said we'd be happy with 7 to 9 wins, 100% up on 2021. Yet now 7 and 8 and the world is ending. We got to give this crew 3 years. I know. And again, like Phil, it's the truth. Now, the expectations did change because 6 of those wins were before the bye, and we just lost 6 of 7, I think it is, and 5 in a row. 5 of 6, right? I think it's 6 of 7, 5 in a row, I think. And that's the thing. It really is. It changes. But that's the truth. Like, again, 7 to 9 wins. If we get 8 wins, we've split with the division. We found a real, Garrett Wilson's an amazing stud, true number 1. Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, Michael Carter, this great. Quinnen Williams is a bona fide stud. NFL elite level stud, right? One of the best interior linemen, and he's 20, he just turned 25. So Quinnen can be here another 6, 7, 8 years. He really can. And, and there's Michael Clemens, Jermaine Johnson, like there's lots of positives to build on. So again, if it didn't happen this way, but it did, so you can't ignore it. But if it didn't happen this way, we'd be happy, most of us. Instead, so it doesn't mean just because it was on the back end doesn't mean you gotta rip it out by the root, in my opinion. Luppy OU812. 8 wins after all the crap and injuries we went through would be a good accomplishment, especially knocking the Finns out of the playoffs. Right. I agree. That's kind of what I'm saying. I agree with you. Rise of the New York Jets. No need to tank. Just play like the Jets the last 5 weeks and let nature that's the other thing, dude. We might not be able to win this game, right? We might not be able. All right, we haven't done anything, but we look devoid of vigor, right? Yeah. The thing is, though, Twisted, it definitely has an impact. I think the offensive line stuff, it catches up, man. We did a good job. We really did. And I credit Benton, LaFleur, Saleh, Joe Douglas going out there and scrambling and getting that many injuries to the one position, really two, right and left tackle. Even guys we brought on who've never been injured were injured. Like having all of our injuries kind of focused right there, it's amazing that we pulled off what we pulled off. Dude, that's the thing. You got to commend that. The staff did just an incredible job, including Joe Douglas going out there and getting Cedric Abuye and Remmers. He got LDT back. You know what I mean? And look, they're not world beaters, but shit, man. They're better than Connor McDermott. So the upgrade was real, and they were able to keep it together. And the offensive line, while not great, was not as bad as a lot of people are making it out to be. They had bad games for sure. But overall, when you look at it, the whole season, the offensive line, considering all the injuries to it, it's amazing that they even played as well as they did. And they did, but it caught up. And now, interestingly, the last game, they had a good game. The 2 games prior, they were atrocious. One was, right. Well, Detroit, they weren't as bad. I think Jacksonville, that was a really bad game. So, anyway, there's a lot to hang your hat on there. And I think, if we are able to bolster it, and look, I'm still a huge Becton fan. I really am. I really am. Now, do I think they should depend on him and not go get some sort of really premium left or right tackle, whatever it is, because of him? No. And he might end up being the guy, but you have to bolster that. You have to. You can't. 2 straight seasons that he was gone we saw 3 quarters in 2 seasons. You cannot. You just can't. It's not smart. It's not smart to do. So you have to do that. So let's take a look at the Hank. Hey, Hank, good morning. If Parcells would have promised Peyton Manning he would have drafted number 1, he probably would have. Oh, no doubt. And on the other, there's 2 things. Well, 3. And I went through it last week in my fucking 4-hour rant. There's 4 big things. One is he should have just told Archie Manning, of course I'm going to draft your kid. He would have come out and he'd be the Jets quarterback. And there's that. Jets probably, Peyton Manning's rookie season when he threw more intercept, Jets fans, there would be a large contingent saying he sucks. This guy sucks. He's a bust. You know it, dude. We can't possibly, as a collective, wait a couple years for somebody to develop. We can't. Who knows? We might have ruined Peyton Manning. I don't know. That said, let's assume that he's still Peyton Manning. So we get Peyton Manning. Then the next year, he has, no. So, okay, that would have been the number 1 pick. Then we avoid the trade and all that. But Peyton Manning comes out and we take him first overall. Don't forget, we just had Keyshawn the year before. We had Jeff Graham. We had Wayne Corbett. Dude, Peyton would have had a field day with these guys. So the other thing is, if Bill Parcells was going to quit and retire as the head coach, he shouldn't have stayed on as the president of football operations. Bill Belichick would have stayed on as the head coach. He didn't want to be under Parcells. He's like I'm not going to be the head coach and still be second fiddle to this guy. He's not doing it. He wanted control. The Patriots gave it to him. Now, we should have just pushed Bill. Look, you're either the head coach or you're not. You know what I mean? You're the head coach and GM or you're not. Because he's never proven anything as a general manager. Quite frankly, he's not very good at general managing. Good in free agency. But as far as draft, he's not good, man. He's found his guys, don't get me wrong, but he's not good. He didn't manage those drafts very well. Now, the 2000 draft, different story. But that was because, look, we had the pick from Belichick leaving. We had our own pick. And then what he did was he gave Keyshawn Johnson away, arguably our best player, for 2 picks. And they obviously did very well. I loved that draft class. And then, getting Lavernius Coles in the 3rd as well. So anyway, but if Parcells would have just left, said, okay, I'm retiring, I'm leaving, good luck, Bill Belichick, we would have had Bill Belichick as our head coach. We still would have had Charlie Weiss, Romeo Crennel, in addition to Ron Earhart, Al Groh, Maurice Carthon, all those guys would have stayed here because the staff split. Remember, the staff split in half. So we would have had Peyton Manning and that whole staff. Come on, we'd be Super Bowls. It's painful to think about. Painful, Hank. All right, let's get to the poll. I'm going to close this poll down. Where the hell is it? Did the poll not go up? No. Did the poll not go up, dudes? I put a poll up here. You guys see the poll? Come on. This is Bologna. All right. Well, I'm sorry. I guess I did. Yeah, but Jets Forever saw it. Wait a minute. Where the hell's the poll? Where is my poll, everybody? Let me see something. Let me do it this way. All right, let me do it this way, everybody. Let me try to come in here. Get out of here with this. Yes, close. Okay. There it is. All right, I'm going to end the poll. The question was, what is the Jets' priority going into the draft, right? Well, as we stand right now. Now, of course, there's only 4 spots, so I can't have every position on there. Like Jets Forever was saying, center is the main priority in his mind. So I didn't put that on there. It is what it is. So we're just going to see where we stand today. So I have the choices were quarterback, offensive tackle, free safety, and defensive tackle. Now, I want to remind you, this was for the draft, so not in the offseason. So quarterback, that's why I put it in there. I thought this was going to be interesting. So because to think of the idea of bringing in another quarterback through the draft, like using our premium pick, let's say, Hooker or Levis is there. And let's say we're picking 12th, 13th, and one of these guys is there. Do you do that? Do you pull the trigger on that? You know what I mean? I don't know, man. Any quarterback we get is going to be like, oh, no. So, all right, here's how it went. Offensive tackle took the cake with 65%. And remember, this is the draft. A quarterback came in second. So 25% of you thought drafting a quarterback is a good idea. Drafting the third first-round quarterback would be a good idea. I don't know how I feel about that. A free safety, 5%. That's interesting. That's interesting. Defensive tackle, 4%. Interesting. Oh, yeah, look, thank you. I see you guys were trying to help me. Thank you. You guys are the best. Indy Jets and Tyson and Loopy, Phil, Mighty Buffoon. Yeah, Chris, Haven, Bob's Garage. There. So thank you for trying to help. For some reason, it just wasn't showing. I had to refresh it. But so interesting, man. So offensive tackle took the cake. I think rightfully so. I would like to see. Let's take a quick look. I'm going to show you this. Let's take a look at this, guys. We'll very quickly see what's happening with the offensive tackles as they stand right now. Now, I use a number of sites for my draft analysis. Tankathon's a good one. I used to use Walter Football, but they've fallen off. But then there's the ESPNs, there's the NFL. NFL does a really good job breaking down the candidates and rating them. I really like what they do toward the draft. But my main site is this one right here, and you'll see a lot of my stuff is influenced by this. Not all of it, but I make my own my own opinions, believe me. But I use this. So here's the value chart, just so you know. This is the Jets, right? Let me see. Nope. So very quickly, here's where we stand as of right now. And then we're going to take a look at these offensive tackles. So here's where we stand, guys. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 picks currently. Now, I believe, maybe I'm wrong, because we did have 2 sixths. Maybe we already gave that to Jacksonville, and it's this one, right? Maybe. But either way, maybe we lose. Doesn't look like we're going to lose the 5th. We're going to lose the 6th. So if we already gave it to him, great. If not, then we have 5 picks. That's where I might have confused that. So at best, we have 6 picks as it stands now. Currently, right now, we're at pick 15. Then we have pick 46, 78, 110. Now, this is different for us. The last bunch of years, we've had numerous firsts, numerous seconds, a whole bunch of 5ths and 3rds, and all kinds of fun stuff. We don't have that this year. So where that's going to be interesting. So we'll see what we do here. But let's take a look at the positional rankings. Let's go to the offensive tackle. Now, again, this isn't the only site that I use to help me out with big boards and things like that. But it's one of the ones I like the best. I really think they do a good job. So here's what we got. You got from Northwestern, interestingly enough, people are talking about Paris Johnson a lot. That's kind of the name. But they have Peter Skoronski, 6'4", 294, as the best offensive tackle in the draft. Now, maybe not, and these obviously change as things go. But then you have Broderick Jones out of Georgia. That's a guy I like. Now, again, I haven't done my deep dive yet. So I do like Broderick Jones. I've spent about, a half hour on Paris Johnson. I've also spent some time on Broderick Jones, just kind of putzing around. I didn't do what I really do in the offseason. But look at these guys. So you have a few. Look at this guy, 6'8", 360. You want to take another one of those guys? Right? You want to take another one of those? 6'8", 360. You got Blake Freeland from BYU. Anton Harrison out of Oklahoma, Jalen Duncan. Then people have talked about Bergeson as well from Syracuse. So it's going to be interesting, but this is kind of what we're looking at. If we are in the top 10, let's say top 15, one of these guys are going to be there. Now, depending which one we like, remember in the Becton draft in 2020, there were 4 tackles that were considered the premium tackles. You had Andrew Thomas, Jedrick Wills, Mekhi Becton, and Tristan Wirfs. 2 of them were gone by the time we picked. And then there were 2 on the board. We chose Boomer Bust Becton over the much, much safer Tristan Wirfs. But I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that we didn't want, Tristan Wirfs was a right tackle, and he was going to have to move over. Maybe that was a little bit more than they wanted to bite onto. It would have been a great pick. But I didn't, I thought they were going to draft Wirfs. I said, it's all there. It's on tape. It's on Ryan's channel. I said, they're taking Wirfs. And they chose Becton. I was blown away, and I was excited about it. To have a GM that was willing to have the balls to do that. Again, it's not written, but so far it's not looked good. Abstraiku checking in. Thank you. I'd rather the best free safety than the third offense. That's an interesting argument, Abstraiku. And you hear that a lot. There's a lot of that. People, even in that draft I just mentioned in 2020, the argument was you can take the third offensive tackle or the first wide receiver. I believe Jerry Jeudy was still there. CeeDee Lamb was still there. Henry Ruggs was gone. So it was like the second receiver. Justin Jefferson. And you had the rest. Laviska Shenault, Jalen Reagor, Denzel Mims, all those guys. So they were all still there. So a lot of people were making that argument. The third offensive tackle or the number 1 wide receiver. But here's where that gets muddy. The third offensive tackle, if it's a strong offensive tackle draft, may be a better prospect than the number 1 free safety. Now, again, I'm not saying that specifically applies to this draft. I haven't done it yet, but it could mean that. It could be that way, I mean. So you have to look at that stuff. Then there's need. Now, you shouldn't reach for need, but drafting need, I'm a big fan of it. BPA at a need. That's what it is. Now, we need free safety. We need offensive tackle. But then the other thing is you have to look at how the group falls off, right? So if the third offensive tackle is the last offensive tackle worth their shit, that's not a developmental prospect. And the free safeties, there's definitely going to be one of the top 3 or 4 in the second round, then you make that decision too. You know what I mean? But it's a valid thought process, man. Now, I don't know where it's going to be. But again, reaching for an offensive tackle, third or fourth guy, when you can just go ahead and get the best free safety and or center or maybe defensive tackle. Like, look, dude, not for nothing. Let me show you this. See this guy right here? We need this too, dude. Okay? We need this too. Now, I think he might be a little bit more of a rusher to some degree than run stuffer. Like 310 pounds is pretty good. Pretty good. You know, it's large. But with defensive tackle, you might be able to get the best defensive tackle in the draft too. So that stuff applies. Those thought processes are real. The U checking in. Thank you. Hey, GreenBean, you watching any spring football, i.e. XFL, USFL? You know what, man? Last year I tried to watch the USFL. I did. I figured, hey, to hell with it. The Generals, I like that. It's all the teams from the past. I watched the USFL back in the day. The younger guys don't remember. The USFL came out and they were stealing players from the NFL. Like they were drafted Herschel Walker, Jim Kelly, right? Who else was I thinking? I was just thinking of somebody. Well, there was a lot of guys. They were stealing guys from the NFL. So people were choosing the USFL over the NFL. So it was a big thing. Now it failed ultimately. But I like that the fact that they're bringing it back. They went with the old teams, like the Jersey Generals are there. I like that. You know what I mean? I think it's fun. But I got to say, the football wasn't all that good. Wasn't all that good. You know what I mean? So it's hard to watch, actually. So let's see if it improves. Think the XFL is going to be interesting, right? Yeah, I'll definitely watch some, see how it goes. But, the thing is I love the game of football. I watch high school ball. Obviously we watch college ball. Flutie, there he is. That's who I was thinking. That's it. Flutie went over there. So, even though I do watch some bad football, I can't carve out that much time for boring, really bad, like just people that suck. It's hard. So yeah, I'll be checking it out. I like the idea of spring football. I really do. You know? So Kareem Carson saying the value at free safety is so it's a deep class. Again, I don't even know. I by choice chosen not to look. It's like refreshing. It's refreshing, man. I haven't looked. So it's going to be interesting getting into it this late. Usually I'm like, I got 3, 2, 3, 4 positions done right now already in my way, you know? All right, a couple more comments, then we'll get out of here. Hey, Walt's here, 6'8", That's almost half the front. Well, I know. Well, that's Becton, 6'7", 367. Right, or 6'6". What is he? I forget. Yeah. But it's going to be interesting. Let's see how let's see how it starts to settle and shake out. It's going to be interesting to see. Jets Forever says, go undrafted free agent for defensive line. The only problem with that is that you're going to have to pay. I think we should probably try to bring back Rankins if we can. I don't know about Nathan Shepard, but if we do, he should be depth only. I mean, and he kind of is. But I think we need to upgrade that position. Next to Quinnen, we need a guy that eats that space. You want that space between the center and the tackle to be destroyed by one guy. That's what you want. You can't run here. You know what I mean? So, if he's doing that, Quinnen is much better against the run than he gets credit for. But so you got him and Quinnen, who you going to double team, that kind of stuff. And then, the Bryce Huff and Jermaine Johnson on the outside kind of a thing. And JFM's in the mix. But, I think we need a guy that's without question the best run stuffer on the team. You'd like to get a top 5 run stuffer in the NFL, that kind of thing. And if you're going to do that, you got to do it early in the draft usually. But you can find big uglies in the back end of the round of the draft. But going undrafted free agency, the issue is that we don't have a lot of money. And who you're going to get for, if you're going to do on the cheap, you're not going to get anybody worth their salt in many instances. Maybe. Let's see. John Hyatt will be our first round pick, you think? Let's see. Let's see what we got here. I don't even know who that is. John Hyatt? He's not even on their big board. Who's John Hyatt? You guys know? Who is he? Is it did I miss him? He just I don't see him, buddy. I don't know who that is. Come on, what's going on? There we go. So anyway, and you can go, like, let's look at the defensive tackle rankings right here. You know, let's look at a nice the three techs. Okay, so you got, again, Jalen Carter, you got Brian Brees, Jacqueline Roy, right? So LSU, you got some Javon Dexter. I haven't looked at these guys yet, so I don't know. But this is what it looks like, at least right now. Kobe Turner, Wake Forest. That's got to be careful. So I don't know who that is. Jets forever. I don't know who that is. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Dan, right? If Rankins is too expensive, but if he takes a similar contract, if he takes somewhere between $5-6 million, you got to pay guys. You can't have nobody. You're gonna have to pay Quinnen, but if you have and you already paid JFM, so it's gonna be a point you can't keep giving money to it. But I'd like to see them work something out with him. Again, he's getting a little bit older. He's not old yet. He could probably go out there and get one last big contract. He probably can. Yeah, I don't know. Why? I don't know. The fuck is that? I told you, by choice, I haven't even looked. I haven't looked at anybody. I don't know what anybody is. And interestingly, this year, I haven't been able to really even watch much. I think I watched like 3 games the whole year. So it's not part of my schedule this year. He's in the 40s. Let me see what he is. Jets forever. You're a condescending douche. I want you to know that. You really are. Like, you should fucking take a breath, man. Take a breath. I don't know why you're such an asshole. Oh, there he is. Jalen Hyatt, wide receiver. Oh, yeah, that's what we need. Yeah. Brilliant. Going to use another first-round pick on a wide receiver. Okay, so there you go. So guys, we're going into this game. We play the Miami Dolphins. We could potentially sweep a division rival for the first time in a very long time. Even when we were winning some games, we were still losing. We were splitting and stuff. We haven't swept anybody in recent memory. So it can be interesting. Now, again, there's a lot of draft ramifications. So one way or the other, we're going to see. I think it would be really interesting if we just decided to put out our second, third stringers, just flip it, get them all out there. Some guys would be upset. Quinnen, maybe Garrett Wilson. They want to get their stats up for their career stats and all that. And I get it, but that should be secondary. You go out there and if we do that, you go out there with your second string, third string, and see if you can beat him. If you can, then you do. I'm a fan of winning. And while I get it, I get the whole draft thing, and I get it. Of course, I've rooted for the draft pick the last 11 years, or 11 of the last 12. And honestly, I'm a little tired of it. And I'd like to see just a continued move forward. Just keep trying to, improve this team. And let's do it that way. Guys, Loopy Squish the Fish. Right. Sergeant Cavo's street sweep. Isn't it good, Indy? Yeah, sometimes you got to just say the thing. And Phil Adams, you're very welcome. Guys, have a great rest of the day. I got lots to do today. It's homeschool day. I'm going to go get my daughter right now and start math, language arts, and history today. So we'll see how it goes. But guys, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you. Let's see. Let's do this one. Have a great day, everybody. See you next time.
As a Hall of Fame voting group, we need to re-examine some careers. And I think we need to re-examine the career of Joe Colecco.
Dang, I want to see how I do against this guy, because he was the best.
Left guard can't handle Colecco.
Just knock the crap out of the guy across from you.
Intensity, bottom line. Never take a play off.
He was incredibly strong.
His just pure raw strength.
He was the same every play. Ball zone.
It was an incredible accomplishment to be dominant at one position in the NFL in your career, but to be dominant at three positions